Hello, class. We are the Modular Organization Group consisting of Stephen Harrison, Leah Wang, Eric Alcala, Andrew Schimmelfenning, and Tanner Stratford. So what is modular organization? As the name states, it is a way of organizing into smaller self-sufficient modules. It is also an alternative to being a large firm that controls all aspects of production into a much smaller firm with more flexibility and more adaptability. It breaks up the organization into a network of loosely coupled modules that are able to operate independently and with high flexibility. It also grants the business the ability to quickly adapt to changing demands. One of the examples in the reading where we researched was to imagine a large company such as, for example, Toyota, the car company, and imagine it changing suddenly or needing to change from producing cars to producing something like smart home appliances. If the business was organized modularly, they would be flexible enough to retool and change to the new product without much problem.
Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about the upsides of modular organization. So I'm going to go ahead and read off the points on my slide, and then I want to explain them just a little bit. So flexibility is high due to low interdependency between modules, and the loosely coupled structure allows for the organizations to restructure easily to respond to market needs. So just when you think about flexibility, flexibility in an organization is a good thing. When you need to respond quickly to the changing market and need to put out a product that the market is wanting, you're going to want high flexibility for that. So being able to immediately respond to demand with the corresponding supply is pretty much every business's dream, and modular organization allows businesses to come closer to that goal. A good example that was given in the third source was a Lego set. So it's great to have objects that perform one function, but Legos kind of allow you to build anything that you can think of, because you start off with the little blocks, and by themselves they're really not that spectacular. But then you can link all the little pieces together and build a solid structure. You're only limited to your imagination. Another example that I thought of was the Iron Man suit that Tony Stark built with the nanotechnology. So up until he built that suit, his other suits had some really cool functions, but they were limited to that specific thing that they were designed for. And when the nanosuit came along, he could restructure his suit to make any weapon that he wanted very, very quickly. So modular organization is kind of like that. It allows this type of idea to happen where we can take the structure of the organization and change it to whatever it is that it needs to fit.
I'm Andrew Schimmelfenning, and I'll be talking about a couple of disadvantages that come with having a modular organization. The first disadvantage is that it doesn't really work well with smaller projects or organizations that can't be split into separate pieces. You really need to be able to split your organization or your project into different modules to take advantage of the benefits of a modular organization. Another big disadvantage of a modular organization is that you can get too modular. If your organization is too modular or too loosely coupled, if you have, for example, different teams or departments that are organized in a way that they're completely detached from each other, it can be really difficult to have those teams communicate, to work together and collaborate on important work. So there are some times where a modular organization can make work more difficult. So it's important to not get too loosely coupled and manage how modular your organization is going to be.
All right, so now let's get into the effectiveness of modular organization. Or in other words, what are some situations that it would be useful to use this organization structure? Modular organization, though probably not advisable for really small projects or really small groups where it would be counterproductive to further divide them into smaller projects and smaller groups, It can be adjusted to complement the size and makeup of just about any group, project, business that you're working with. The trick to this, or at least one trick, is going to be to ensure that directions and ideas for this project, for those groups, are able to be distributed promptly and thoroughly throughout the various groups, making sure that everybody is understanding and on the same page as to what their job is and how it contributes to the greater whole. As discussed previously, one benefit of modular organization is going to be its flexibility. It allows for businesses or your groups to adapt to a changing world, whether that means adapting to a customer changing the requirements that they're looking after, or developing a product for a new field, a new technology that's being used. If using this structure, you should allow your groups to determine how best to fulfill their roles in that given project, but ensure, just as we said before, that effective and consistent communication is happening to make sure that they're staying on the same schedule that everybody else is working on, and ensuring that they're working towards the same larger goal, that nobody's veering off the path and starts building a boat instead of